Thank you, please proceed. Your roll call for me again?
Yes, sir. Mayor Burton.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Present.
Councilmember Freeman.
Present.
Councilmember Shaw.
Present.
Councilmember Scott.
Present.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Announcement, cell phones are to be turned off, placed on vibrate, or silent only, please. No conversation or comments from the audience is permitted unless specifically called upon by the mayor. Please remain respectfully quiet. I'd like to make a couple other announcements. The city council sign up for the election is still ongoing, but the last day to sign up is this Friday. The packets must be filled out completely and signed and notarized and turned in by 5 o'clock this Friday to have your name on the ballot for the May election. I also like to say I was honored to be present for two of our newest officers' swearing-in ceremonies and badge pinning, which is a big day in their lives, to get that first badge on their chest. And I was very proud of both of them. I had the opportunity to talk to a couple of their instructors from Navarre College in Waxahachie, and they praised them both highly. I was very proud that we were able to recruit these officers, and I know they are going to be very well trained with the command staff we have, with the chief and the captain, and their field training officers are quite accomplished, and they are going to get off to a great start. A couple other announcements. We are moving some of the trash cans out of the way because we're getting ready to put the sidewalks in around the square. They're going to be handicap accessible, and the sidewalks will also be very beneficial to activities we have on the square. It's been measured out to be right at a quarter of a mile, so if my math is right, if you make 8 laps, you'll get you a mile in and get to walk around beautiful downtown. So we are real proud of that. We also are finna erect another flagpole, the same size as the one we got, fly the Texas state flag, and we're going to move the marquee sign. It hasn't been working for the last couple of months, but we had the company come out and look at it, and it's something to do with the antenna upload system, and they're going to fix it. Well, we're going to move it down in front of the city hall, and that's about where the flagpole is going to go, and I think that'll help beautify the square. And plus, as we discussed a little earlier, there's approximately 23,000 to 25,000 cars going by 67 and 157 per day. That will increase the visibility of that sign greatly. Especially as they're sitting there at the red light, they'll have time to read it. Where I know most of y'all noticed, you're coming south, the building's blocked. If you're coming this way, the fire department blocks it, but we're going to keep the fire department. We're not going to move that just to put a sign.
Put us in a new place, we don't mind.
Well, we're probably going to one day. But anyway, I think we'll get more visibility out of it down there, and with the other flagpole to beautify the square. So we have that in the works. All of our city employees do a great job every day, but I'd like to give Caesar and his crew a little special recognition. They have been working on the Civic Center. They took all that old carpet down off the side of the walls that were dirty and ragged, and put up some new, more modern siding, and it's really brightened the place up, and with the council's lowering the rental rates, the rentals have spiked. So that has been a good news. But we owe a lot to Caesar and his crew for they're really going above and beyond just the water and the sewer. So I appreciate it, Caesar. And I did notice that you graded the roads down at the cemetery for me. I was asked over a year ago to get you to do that, and I forgot about it till I was down there the other day and saw, well, this is rough, I think I was supposed to get him to do that, and I asked him like on a Tuesday, and by Friday it was done, so I appreciate it. So with all that said, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is citizen public comment period. Do we have anybody?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll move on from there. We have a proclamation. Proclamation in February as Fair Housing Month for the City of Venus. So I'll proclaim that February is the Fair Housing Month, which entails, you can read all this, but it's just National Fair Housing Law during the month of February provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize that complete success in the goal of equal housing opportunity and can be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. So, proclaim February Fair Housing Month in the City of Venus. So, we'll do that, and then we'll move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will not be separate discussions of these items. If separate discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Under consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes from the January 9, 2017 regular City Council meeting, and 2, ratify the payment of bills for the month of January 17. Does anybody have any comments or discussions on the consent agenda? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Have a motion made by Councilwoman Prazak to approve the consent agenda. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Hernandez. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. All right. Items for individual consideration. Discussion, consider approval of ordinance 447, 2017, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Venus, Texas, ordering amendment of the City of Venus Code Ordinance Chapter 6, Animals, to update the regulations dealing with the care and control of animals within the city, adopting state law provisions dealing with rabies control, dangerous dogs and unlawful dogs, restraint, providing a criminal penalty, confirming Texas Open Meetings Act compliance, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, providing a publication clause, providing an effective date, and providing a certification of adoption. Chief, you want to give us the highlights on the new animal ordinance?
Absolutely. Well, this has been a work in progress. I know Cass has been working on this for a long period of time, and it kind of branches off of this discussion we had last month where I was here digitally. But this is a really good ordinance, and I think it's really important that the ordinance itself Cass took into consideration a lot of things that you recommended in the ordinance. I hope that you've had time to review it and make any type of suggestions here to where we can improve it. But a couple of highlights that we really think will be important is it definitely just demonstrates what is dangerous animals. It gives us citizens a clear understanding of those dangerous animals and what they can and cannot have. The issue for us with dangerous animals in our community is we don't have the personnel to be able to maintain any type of dangerous animal. We're having a lot of citizens moving in. So the fear for us is more people that move in, potentially bringing those dangerous animals, we're not able to offer the service to be able to restrain them from harming our citizens. The other thing that's really important for us in this is the animal microchipping. We can work with our citizens to make sure we offer that at as low cost possible to them, possibly bring some of those agencies out to do that. But one of the things we currently run into is when we find a dog, we have no way to locate its potential owner. And that dog, the only thing we can do is bring it to SPCA, which costs us a significant amount of money. And it's a lot of hassle for those citizens having to drive to Waxahachie to pick up their dog and pay those fees and fines. If we have the microchip, then we can get the microchip reader. When our animal control officer catches that dog, he can read it, see if it's a local resident, and then bring that dog back to the resident owner. Because I think that links the owners to the pets a lot better. The chickens is covered in this ordinance, and there's an alternate way I think we can talk about some of that as well. But what we're going to do is create a fair understanding of what our citizens' expectations are. The other thing is here, I believe it requires a leash. We've had I think, 3 or 4 kids in our community where the animals were under voice control, which is currently allowed in our ordinance. And so people perceive that their dog will listen to them, but once their dog starts running after a child, that dog doesn't listen anymore. So we want to make sure we require our citizens that they have their dog on a leash. And it'll help to rectify some of those children that are getting bit by parks in these areas. I think we can answer any questions you guys might have, and I know Cass, I think this is an outstanding ordinance, like you usually did a great job on portraying it. Is there anything you wanted to highlight for them?
Yeah, Cass, would you, before we start questions and anything you wanna?
The only thing that's a bone of contention is chickens. And so if you'll see in the packets, we made a chickens no ordinance, and then we did a chickens yes alternate language. And we can adopt it either way. And everything else, the staff were very helpful. James Halstead, Captain Groom, everybody was involved in the process, and we cleaned it up a lot from when you guys saw it last month. So any questions were available. Mayor, did you like the alternative language I sent you?
It was pretty good.
Wow, you said something nice.
Well, I tried, but
And
I didn't understand about that on the chicken ordinance, on the alternative language. Does it limit it to an acreage or just being 50 foot away from somebody else's property?
I think I didn't put an acreage
No,
on
you
it.
didn't. If you know, like 1 acre or 3 acres. I mean, Mansfield, I was reading some of theirs, and Mansfield currently has 3, but it's in front of the city council being discussed, and they haven't acted on it yet. They put it to a subcommittee, which I guess they have, subcommittees, and trying to get it reduced down to 1 acre. They have wards for their city councilman up there, and I guess he lives out in one of the wards that people want to reduce it to 1 acre.
Yeah, most cities believe that if you're going to restrict the chickens from free range, if they have to be in a pen, then it doesn't matter what acreage, because they're going to be in a pen. They're not going to be running around. And then it's just a matter of having them not being too close to any other residential structure. So I didn't put that in there as a restriction because they're not running loose.
Yes.
Our alternative language says they have to be in that pen or that enclosure.
Right.
And in that situation, it wouldn't really matter if you have a big backyard or a small backyard. In my opinion, if
That
you
makes,
guys want to
that
add
makes
it.
sense. I was just asking the question, but it doesn't make sense. But
It says 50 feet.
50,
Shall
The
be
big
kept
many
50
habitation.
feet or more from any other
habitation.
habitation located.
And the reason I did that is because if you look at your backyard, if you put the chickens back there, if you have a small backyard, 50 feet might block some people from doing it at all.
So when you say habitation, does that mean their property line or their house?
Habitation is where someone lives.
So it would be from their house.
And the chickens are important to us because that's where we're currently getting complaints on our animal ordinances. There are people in our city who have chickens. And so it needs to be clarified to our citizens what your guys' expectations are. And that's originally why we started addressing this animal ordinance in the first place.
The whole reason we were doing this is to no chickens.
Well,
And now we're at the other end of the process, we're going.
and I don't really care if we have chickens or not, I just know that, some people do, and I just did not want to sit here and try to write an ordinance in the middle of the council, so I wanted an alternative if that's what the council wants. And if they don't want chickens, then I'm fine with that. I don't have any, so it's not gonna matter what it is.
So how many animals can a residential have?
4.
It doesn't
It
have a
doesn't
specific
say
number.
You don't have a specific
No, it
number?
didn't put a
No.
specific-
No, it says, what? No, that's not.
There's no specific number.
But the,
I thought
So
it
the
said
chickens is
4.
3.
No.
I can't get my thing.
On the other.
I think the reason that Cass changed the original number from a set number to, it's basically a determination tender between me and the animal services rep is, if you're living in a home that only has a few hundred square feet and we allow 4 animals, that's probably too small of a space for those animals and healthy living. But if you live in a larger house, you may be able to have 4 animals without it being any problem to the animals or to your family. And so I think he wrote it in such a way where myself and the animal service officer can make a
But
determination.
that was on the dogs and the cats
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but I thought there was a limit on the chickens.
The chickens has a minimum,
That's
is it
three,
a
I thought.
3?
Maybe in the first one.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't get mine full up, so I can't pull.
Council, one of the things that, from a policy and a staff perspective, we're trying to make our ordinances last for a longer periods of time than they did in the past. In the past, they kind of just would be outdated within 2 years. And we're trying to look ahead. And a lot of cities are getting away and moving away from putting a limit on the animals because of that fact, that there are some people that have large homes that have big backyards, and they can have more than 4 animals, and the animals can be safe and the people can be safe. And then there are other situations where a person in a 1-bedroom, 600 square foot apartment should not have 4 animals. And so it leaves the discretion to the animal control folks and to the neighbors involved. I will tell you that the removal of the animals, Chief had a great idea of giving there be a way to remove the animals if there's an emergency situation, but otherwise, there's an opportunity for that person to have some time to comply too. We're not being overly harsh in terms of the enforcement.
Yeah, I thought they'd come up with
Okay.
on my
Michelle,
phone.
I think they want a porch.
It's in the original, that's not the old one.
Yeah, that's in there.
Oh, do you want to, does he need the ordinance, the new ordinance?
Yeah, so even in the alternative, it says owners shall not keep or maintain more than 4 chickens. That's how I read that somewhere when I was preparing for this. So you did put that in there, in the alternative one.
I never denied that I didn't.
It's, in the new ordinance where we allow chickens, it's in subsection D1, says owner shall not keep or maintain more than 4 chickens, and chickens shall be kept a distance of 50 feet or more from any habitation located on the other's property.
So anyway, the ordinance is open for discussion, comments.
So are we saying that they can have 4 chickens plus animals, or a total of 4?
That would be determined by
By
the
size,
chief
okay,
and the setup of the house.
If, you know, a little efficiency house and they got 4 chickens and 6 dogs and 3 cats, that might be excessive. You
Right.
know, if they got 4 chickens and 1 little chihuahua, maybe not. And that's if you pass the chicken ordinance. If you pass it as original, without the chicken amendment, then there'd be no chickens.
So did you say the reason really to do this ordinance was we were having
There was
issues with chickens?
a couple of neighbors who were complaining about their neighbor having chickens that brought this to our attention. And our original interpretation of the ordinance was that chickens weren't allowed in the city limits. However, reading that ordinance, it allowed them to keep the chickens if they brought them inside their house. So the people who were complained on by their neighbors simply just brought the chickens inside their homes and alleviated any type of enforcement action we could take. So
Can I ask a question? What was the complaint on the chickens? Were they smelly, noisy?
I mean,
Running loose, I think, was the biggest complaint that we had.
Well, that would cover that, anyway. They gotta be kept in coop.
and there are a lot of cities that allow a few chickens. It's kind of a trendy thing, you know, McKinney, Plano, Frisco area. They allow those. They do allow chickens for people to raise their
On fresh eggs,
It's a trendy thing, but we should still have regulations.
Absolutely.
Correct.
it's up to you, please.
I think chickens belong on a farm
With the cows.
with the cows and the pigs, except for the potbelly pigs, they're really cute.
Jeannie, I made an exception for potbellies.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I like potbellies
Yeah, I
also.
don't know what are you thinking on this?
house either. We're renting that house and one
It's
day.
bad enough to cook, but let's decide that.
I guess,
That's
yeah,
well.
Wes, what do you think? Thinking too hard down there.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it and I was reading it over.
Okay, well, we'll get
Yeah.
back. Jeannie, you come up with anything?
No.
It is a trendy thing now, very much so, and, you know, with moving forward, economic development, you gotta kind of be open, not too open, but I think that having them would be a good thing. I just,
Okay, well, I mean, that's what, we gotta have an opinion, we gotta have some, you know, get opinions toward something, so. And at least this would keep them from running loose, over in the neighbor's yard.
I guess it would depend on how many roosters they decide they're gonna own.
No.
no
roosters.
No roosters.
I said no roosters. No roosters. So this is really whether we like grilled chickens, no boy
They
chickens.
can't have more chickens than white chickens.
That's good for the family.
Yeah, we're.
I like the sound of it.
And roosters.
In soup.
Caesar.
Yeah, but you get up early enough to look.
That's right.
Okay, we gotta do something here, folks.
Are there any other parts besides the chicken parts that you'll have questions?
Yes, I don't know, do they? Do you have any parts about it, or any of the rest of the ordinance?
Okay, how about, like if people have chickens now, or if somebody has a monkey now, or whatever, is
They
that,
get grandfathered
is that gonna be grandfathered in? No?
I think that if a particular person had an animal that would currently be prohibited on this, they could always approach mayor or council and ask for a variance for that particular animal, and show evidence that perhaps it wasn't a problem, and see if council wanted to give a variance on that particular one. The thing that we're really trying to prevent is additional problems coming into our community.
And Jeannie, I was trying to be sensitive to that, and so if you look under, it's on page 6. If you look at provision G, under 6.5, it says a person in violation of subsection A, B, C, and or D of this section on the effective date of the passage of the approval of this ordinance shall have a period of 6 months from the effective date to remedy and gain full compliance before enforcement and prosecution may commence. We thought that that'd be a thoughtful way to allow a little buffer that they can make other arrangements for that animal, or for them to also do, as Chief just described, of coming to council and asking for variance. We didn't want people to be caught off guard. So I built in that 6 month there, but again, we really have to, if we're gonna have the ordinance, we need to enforce it, but we need to do it in a thoughtful way, and that's why I threw that provision in there. But yeah, if somebody has a current animal that's illegal, according to the new ordinance, we're gonna give them 6 months. After that, then they can be enforced. If that, I thought that was fair. I was particularly harsh on bees because I hate bees.
I can see I can get attached to a dog, cat, and even a monkey, but I don't know about a bee.
They bite you and you have to go to the hospital.
You know, you get attached to them, they're attached to them to you. They sting you. All right, we need to move along. Any ideas? Other comments?
So which way would the council like to run with the chickens? With or without?
I don't know about you, but I will run with the
So
chickens.
before I make any.
I might even be on that run. Maybe not.
I think we need to do the alternative and let people have the chickens as long as they
Meet all,
follow this.
meet all the requirements.
Meet all the requirements.
Ms. Shaw?
I concur.
I'll agree with that, because I don't think they need to be keeping chickens inside their house, for sure. They're nasty. I would agree with that.
Geronimo? Wes, anything?
I concur on the chickens.
Anything, okay, anything else on the ordinance besides the chickens? If not, then the floor is open for a motion to approve ordinance 447-2017.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 447-2017
With the,
with the
Chicken amendment.
alternative of, with the chicken amendment.
have a motion by Councilwoman Prezak,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Scott, all in favor? All opposed? Abstain? Four in favor, Mayor Pro Tem West Beatty abstains. Okay, moving along. Discuss and approve final plat for ETJ property located at Stroud Addition, Lot 1, Block 1, 1.657, 8 acres for Stephen Cruz with United Built Homes. Are you here?
Stephen is here, yes.
How you doing, Mayor?
Is this very similar to the last two?
Yes, sir. We got it down to a science by now.
Sounds like we're working on it. Is it, the Stroud Addition, is it
It's on the
still
same street,
same street?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
same side of the street.
Same side of the street. So, this has all been approved by our city engineer. Any questions for Mr. Cruz? Any comments? Okay, thank you. Floor is open for a motion to approve the final plat for the ETJ property at Stroud Addition, Lot 1, Block 1, 1.657, 8 acres for Stephen Cruz.
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion made by Councilman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman Shaw. All in favor? All in favor? Who made the motion? Councilman Hernandez. Second by Councilwoman Shaw. All in favor, none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Discuss and approve final plat for an ETJ property located at Addition, Lot 1, Block 1.89 acres.
Horatio is here, sir.
Horatio, is that for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where is this located at?
11300 County Road 501.
157 north to 509, you make a right, and it's, I don't know, a couple hundred feet down. Or left, I mean. Yeah.
57, on 501, it's on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And he's building
A permanent home is what
Permanent
we're
home?
Yes. But that's in our ETJ, so we only have control over platting the lot, and then he'll go through the county as far as his building code goes.
Okay. And of course, the plat and everything's been approved through our engineer. Any questions?
We're not gonna be supplied at the water and sewer?
Not in ETJ.
Okay.
Not at this time.
All right.
We would love for him to be in the city one day, though.
Someday. Any other questions, comments? And the floor is open for a motion to approve the final plans for the ETJ at Lot, Conservation Lot 1, Block 1.89 acres.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Councilman Hernandez, second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Dady. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed. Well done.
If you can come by tomorrow and pick those up.
Okay, thank you.
Discuss and adopt ordinance number 448-2017, amending the budget for the fiscal year, amending the budget for the fiscal year 2016-2017, authorizing the appropriation of funds to provide for the repair of the city's own civic center building west face wall. This was discussed on the 4B board meeting and approved as a recommendation from the 4B board, but the council has to officially move the money in the budget. So, any comments or questions?
No question.
Yes.
We're gonna do the other side of the civic center eventually, maybe.
Eventually, maybe, yes. I would love to do the other side, but that'd be another 30,000. And that's what it costs this side. We'll see how this comes up first, you know, for a little while. And then but we're just trying to make the front blend in. And, if it looks good next year maybe, and the money's good, we might do the other side on there. Probably never do the back because it's kind of hidden, but, you know, the other side might look good, especially someday if we move that water tank somewhere else and get a bigger one, it might have some parking out to that area or something. So, yeah, I agree. I think it'd be a good idea down the road, but right now we're just gonna try to see if we can get that front where it blends in. Any other questions? Comments? And the floor is open for a motion to approve ordinance number 448-2017.
I make a motion we approve ordinance number 448-2017.
A motion made by Councilwoman Prezak, second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Shaw. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed.
Table the next two, man.
We're gonna have to table the next, agenda item 5 and 6 for purpose of, we're gonna have to do some more research. So we can find out whether or not it's legal or not. So we'll get back to that at a future date. Number 7, consider adoption of an ordinance number 551-2017 of the City Council of the City of Venus, Texas, calling for a special election to be held within the city on May 6, 2017, to submit a proposition to adopt the additional sales use tax for property tax relief, making provisions for the conduct of special elections, providing for other matters related thereto, and providing an effective date. Chief, you want to explain this? I mean, I know exactly what we're talking about, maybe you can.
Yeah, so actually, Jim Sabonis is here. I believe he spoke to you guys last month, and he could probably help direct us on this a little bit.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Jim Sabonis. I'm the financial advisor for the city. I've been working with the staff to look at how the city has to go forward and fund some of its capital needs. One concept that became apparent as we did our analysis is our city's not charging the full sales tax that it can. There's 1/4 of 1 cent that's not being charged. And when you think of your city here being on 67, people are going to be just like me, stopping by gas, and it's a tax that a lot of that sales tax is paid by pass-through people. So the thought process that we have put in place, we have a capital plan that says we vote the 1/4 of 1 cent sales tax ad valorem tax reduction. What we intend to do, the plan is to take, right now, if we were to look at our existing sales tax collections, it's about $60,000 a year. And what the city staff is going to propose is that if it gets voted, we would take the first $60,000 and use that with some other source of funding we have to fund new municipal facilities. It would be capped at the $60,000. Then as that sales tax grows, it'll go into the general fund operating budget, be used as the council sees fit. Gives you wide amount of latitude to use for that process. So simply, this would be an election to put the additional 1/4 cent sales tax in place to make you on par with many of the other cities here that levy the full 8 and 1/4 cents. I'll answer any questions you have.
So, does the majority of cities in this area charge the full amount? Was it 8.5?
It's 8 1/4.
8 1/4?
Generally,
We're at 8, right?
Correct. And the way it works, the state charges 60.25. Cities have 1 cent on their general fund, and then they have a variety of options that they can do. We've actually put in place a portion of that, 0.75, 75 of it, we don't have the others. And again, representing a lot of communities, it's a good funding tool, and most cities try to take advantage of it. So I actually think it just puts you on equal footing in most other cities, and especially cities like you that I represent, where you're on a highway, people pass through, and you start thinking where those dollars come from. A large portion is paid by people that don't live in the city limits that are going to be paid. So a vast majority of my clients use all the sales tax that's available, so they can actually fund those projects.
Well, it says here in this agenda item, says use tax for property tax relief. That doesn't necessarily mean to reduce their taxes, it just means that we don't have to go up on their, it can mean, we just don't have to go up on their taxes too for some of these infrastructure
Correct.
items.
And that's the goal, is to use available sources, not you go up in your taxes. And technically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be increasing our general fund sales tax collection by this 1/4 of 1 penny. And ultimately, it'll go through truth and taxation, and it'll provide a funding source that will prevent the need to go up and have lower taxes, or potentially lower and lower taxes in the future. Well, what I'll say is that initially, the thought is the initial amount that we capture will be used for funding, with all the growth being to be determined by the city council and its annual budgets as they go forward. And the numbers I'm quoting, if I'm correct, is before some of the liquor stores, the beer and wine that you expect to be jumping way up there. So our actual expectation is next year you'll actually have extra sales tax coming in that we won't be utilizing.
Above and beyond this. And just so the council understand, we're not voting on the tax tonight, we're just voting to put it in front of the voters to approve or disapprove the increased tax. So it's just, the ordinance is just to put it in front of the voters, because it is certainly be their call, whether they want it or not. But it also, like, gentleman saying that a lot of our sales tax right now comes from all 67, and a good majority of those people are passing through. So
They're just passing through.
So they're not necessarily, all that money's gonna come from being residents.
They're used to paying that tax everywhere they go anyway. I pay that tax everywhere I go, if I can't find it right here in Venus, I'm going to go down the road and I'm gonna pay that extra tax. If they'll think about it, they're not gonna really notice it. They're used to paying it everywhere.
Did I understand you correctly last month, that if the county so desired, they could implement that tax for themselves?
In some counties, example, in Parker County, we've got a 1/2 cent sales tax that they use to fund their general fund, that's countywide. So, again, counties can use it, and you call election, but in our case, the goal is to get it for the city in this process.
Right.
And to answer your question, I think the other thing about sales tax is most of the essential purchases that people make at grocery stores and drugs, they're not going to pay sales tax. So really, it's really discretionary purchases for residents, and the type of discretionary purchases that people make when they come through and go forward. That's why your staff is thinking, when you look at your sources, you're not fully optimizing what you can do, especially given the fact with the new growth that you have with the beer and wine coming in and continued growth around 67. That is just money that's not being levied that could go to benefit these citizens.
Any additional questions? Thank you very much. Any comments from the council before? Then I'll open the floor for a motion to approve ordinance number 551-2017.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 551-2017.
Motion made by Councilman Hernandez, second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Scott. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, and good luck on the election.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Call me if I can do anything.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jim, so much.
Thank you.
Many thanks too.
Discuss and consider resolution number 03-2017 of the City Council of the City of Venus, Johnson, and Ellis Counties, Texas, ordering a general multiple elections to be held jointly on Saturday, May 6, 2017, for the purpose of electing a mayor and 2 city council members, place 1 and 2, to the Venus City Council, approving the election administration agreements with Johnson and Ellis counties, designating the locations of the polling places, providing early voting information, providing mail ballot request information, ordering notices of the election to be given as prescribed by law in connection with such elections. Basically, we're going to try to have, or we're going to have, if y'all approve it, a joint election with the school here in Venus, and instead of having them hiring three judges and us hiring 3, and, you know, we're just gonna split the cost.
One and done.
Well, you know, pretty much, is what we're trying to do. And then Ellis County has agreed for a very nominal fee, hold the election for our 31 voters in Ellis County,
Okay.
over in Midlothian. So
And
that's,
the benefit to having those Midlothian voters go to Midlothian to vote for council places in Venus is they get to vote for their ISD elections in Midlothian ISD as well. So instead of having to vote 2 different places, you can go vote in Midlothian and vote for both subjects at one time. So we think it'll be a convenience issue for them. I know it's a little further to drive, but it saves them one other voting trip.
and they're holding it for a very minimal amount. So we'll save money on the elections this year.
So we'll have to drive over there to vote.
No,
No.
not if you live on this side of the county line.
The Johnson County residents will still vote at the Civic Center.
Okay, but it's the Ellis County ones that will vote over there.
They'll drive over to
Okay.
Midlothian.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And, the people, the 31 who live in Ellis County, can they vote for Venus?
No, they can vote for Venus City Council, but they'll have to vote for it in Midlothian.
Okay, so any of those 31 people, they can vote for the council, but they have to vote in Midlothian.
Correct.
That'll be their polling spot, but yes, they'll have the same ballot as anyone over here will have. The same names on it.
Right.
And they will be able to vote for the ordinance we just passed on the sales tax increase. And vote yes or no on it, it'll be on the ballot. Any additional questions? Then the floor is open for a motion to approve resolution number 03-2017.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 03-2017.
Motion made by Councilwoman Scott. Second.
A second.
Second by Councilwoman Prezak. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Number 9, discussion and consider approval of resolution number 04-2017 to adopt the procedures and practices in connection with the City of Venus, Texas, participating in federal funding community development block grant projects and adhere to the regulations and described therein. How many times we gonna have to do this, Chief?
There's a lot of paperwork associated with these grants we've got. Every month we get some different things that are required for those grants, and these are required. Public management sends us those to make sure we're in compliance and able to get our money, and these are just our, talk about like the fair housing resolution and different things the federal government requires for them to be able to supplement our grants, so.
The resolution just backs up the forms we have to sign.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? Floor is open for a motion to approve resolution 04-2017.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 04-2017.
Motion made by Councilwoman Shaw, second by Mayor Pro Tem Dady. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. And executive session, I believe we have a couple items for executive session tonight, so I'm going to adjourn into executive session at 7:55. reports. I'm gonna start off with the police department. Captain Broom, you're up, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Last month we finished, or I guess we've got 4 out of 5 rifles trained and out on the street. We've got one left. We've got one officer in field training, and she'll be assigned that rifle when we get her further along in field training, so we can get deployed with the rifles that we purchased this October and November area. We did training on constitutional policing. We also have implemented the mobile side of OSSI. That's a new computer system that we bought into with Johnson County. So we're about halfway through that program being fully implemented. It's given us some more information sharing. We're able to see what everybody in the county is doing. If we stop a car that, Johnson County stopped on the other side of the county and they, put in notes about, what these people were doing, we'll have that information as well, and vice versa. We'll be able to share information with not just the sheriff's office, but I think most of the small cities in the county have bought in Alvarado, Godwin, maybe, I can't remember, but quite a few of them. So that's about halfway through. We're still waiting on one final install for that project to be complete, and it's either going to be this month or possibly next month. Our numbers were a little down, but we were also down in manpower, one officer, and we've got 2 officers currently in field training. Officer Halstead is finishing up his field training, and Officer Martinez started recently. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
You want to introduce the new
Absolutely.
officer?
Oh, yeah, do that.
Well, thank you. Well, we're very excited to introduce Daniela Martinez. Daniela comes to us from Navarro Community College. She was valedictorian of her class. When we did an extensive background on her, I'm sure she was happy about that, but we've found out a lot of really good information about her. She's an excellent student. She has her associate's degree from Navarro College as well. So welcome to Venus. You have a very supportive council, and we work really well with them, and we have a vision for making our city a great place. So thank you for being on board, and I'm sure they'd like to welcome you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Good to see you again. All right, moving along. Fire chief, Alan.
Evening,
Talk
Council.
to us.
Yes, sir. Last month we ran right at 102 calls for the month. 31 of those were within the city. Shows the breakdown of what our fire calls were. Of course, like most places, most of them were EMS calls. We ran 77 EMS and 25 fire calls. 25% of the calls we run, of course, that's usually every month. 25% same address, same people.
Repeat offenders.
Yeah. You can see our average turnout times for EMS was 3:14, about 5 minutes for fire, and that's nights, weekends, volunteers coming from the house to the station to take care of the calls and stuff. So our average was a little over 3 minutes, a little under 4 minutes for the month for our turnout times. And then on the last page there, that's calls within the city that we had this past month. It shows how long it took for us to get a truck out the door, how many people were on the truck, what time the call was, how far we had, or how long it took us to get to the call afterwards. So, we meet every Monday night over there. Every Monday night we do training except for the first Monday of the month. We take care of business. We do one EMS CE class a month, and the rest is all fire. The OSSI that PD is on, I think fire goes live on that next week, I think sometime. So we'll be on the same system as PD, so they can see where we're at, they can see our calls, we can see where they're at in the county. So it gives us a lot more interoperability on calls where we need it. Because right now we have no way of communicating with PD when we're out on calls with them with us, really.
Correct.
So that was one of the benefits of going to this OSSI. It puts everybody on the same system, so.
And I'm really excited about OSSI for our chief, and I know the council, we spent, it was a good chunk of money on that, but I think we're gonna really read through awards of, get better information, be able to work with other agencies a lot better, and be able to coordinate our response to whatever emergency is going on for our citizens in a better way. So, it's an amazing relationship we have with fire chief, I appreciate that.
Thank you. But that's all I got. So.
Thank you, Chief. Caesar, you're up, buddy.
You know, we just went through this holidays and stuff, and we, last month, we put those expensive decorations that we bought a couple of years ago, and they're still working real good, and we're trying to keep them that way, so we'd be proud to put them up every year, so. And I know that when we bought those things, we thought about buying more, you know, like every couple of years, we're gonna add on a little bit of something, so this year's, you know, it's been 2 years, we paid them off already, so I'm hoping that we can look for buying some more, probably by the end of this year. We work over there at the Civic Center, at the Civic Center, we did some repairs there, and you'll see, Geronimo seen that the wall that we fixed, the inside, we ripped that old carpet and stuff.
Great.
Looks good, I think, and, yeah, it'll make us proud. We've been working over here in front of the square, we put that little, barrier there, little curb there, you know, trying to get the traffic flow going on the right direction. Hopefully we can accomplish that at the end of, you know, this month. We've done some work over there on 214 and the student drive. You know, we're not doing a whole lot on the student drive because we're fixing to get a lot of traffic in there, you know, heavy trucks and stuff. We're using just road base to keep that road, you know, open, as well as 214. On the street projects, we got 3rd Street and Pine Street paved. You know, they're done for the in front of those new houses there on Pine Street, so everything is looking very nice over there. And I'm looking forward to see if we can get something done on the square here, you know, the next part of the project for the streets. And we've been working over here on this curve over there by the school on 157 and 109. Cleared all that brush there. We hauled off part of it, and it got to be too expensive to get it, you know. So we're gonna burn the rest of it, you know. We're gonna get rid of it that way.
You gonna burn it?
Yeah, we the chief checked into how we can burn it, you know, instead of getting a permit from, not necessarily. We're gonna have a permit.
Well, we can, let me explain. If
I don't know yet.
if you have brush,
Not in front of the fire chief.
if you have brush that's collected on a particular piece of property, you're allowed to burn that as long as it's okay with the fire chief. The reason we can't burn all the brush that's our public works facilities is it was collected throughout the city. So a city can't go out and collect a bunch of brush and then burn it. So we will be able to burn the trees that were taken off of that property because we didn't bring any other limbs to that location. So we'll work with fire chief to make sure he's there to make sure there's not a fire spreading. But we can't burn all of the mounds of pile of brush at Public Works because that was brought to that location. And TECQ currently has not given us a permit, and I don't know if they're going to. So.
Many years, Venus used to gather all the brush and stuff and put it out here by the old sewer plant and have a bonfire.
That's illegal.
That's how we used to get rid of it.
The TECQ would cite us for that.
Yeah, we could have a bonfire for homecoming, but they got outlawed that too. Yeah, we used to collect all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, open burning in Texas is illegal, except for a few exceptions which they've allowed.
Yeah, in Texas, all outdoor burning is illegal. And then they make exceptions to that rule for cooking, warmth, and recreation.
Well, we can all gather with fireworks.
It's a cold day, and go out to the public works and say, I'm cold.
Which we're not gonna be able to burn it anytime. Hopefully it'll change, but right now precinct 4 is under a burn ban, so we're not gonna be able to burn it anytime soon until they drop that.
Hang on there.
In water and sewer, surveyors, they've been working on this project that we're gonna do the water looping, you know, under 67. And hopefully we can see some work done probably by June or so.
We keep hoping.
Yeah, it's, you know, it takes a while before you get all this bid in and everything, so. At the prison, you know, we're doing some improvements over there on the lift station. I have a manhole put in, you know, in place this past month. And we're gonna do some of this treatment for the walls, so they last longer, hopefully last until I retire or so. A few more years. And we're ready there to start, you know, doing more work. On the west side of town, we had a problem on a sewer, a 10-inch line, a sewer area crossing that it was collapsing, and we got it fixed. And it's running, and, you know, it looks very nice, and, you know, we're not gonna have any problems there in that part of town. Something that I find out on most of our maps, it shows that it's an 8-inch line, but it's a 10-inch in reality. It's a 10-inch line in there. So we work our normal stuff on the month, you know, reading meters, taking care of sewer calls and stuff. So that's it. That's all I have.
Thanks, Lee.
Yeah. Well, I want to speak to Caesar's professionalism a little bit. We've put a lot of stuff on Caesar over the last couple of months as far as, you know, maintaining all this current things we have, but, you know, fixing the Civic Center walls, making a lot of improvements to the city. And he and his guys that are complaining, they go out and they just do a great job, whatever we're asking them to do. And Caesar, I really appreciate that, and I know council really appreciates your efforts, guys. So, as far as city administration goes, we converted to the new city hall operating hours. So far, we haven't had really any complaints on that. We've been monitoring it to make sure we're giving the services to our citizens, but so far, everything seems to be going well. It helps personnel-wise. We have seem to be more people there, be able to stay open for lunch and different things a lot better. So I appreciate you guys letting us do that. We worked with the city's attorney throughout this month. We're on the animal ordinance, but also identifying some future ordinances we need to have in the works and be able to present to you guys in the coming months. What I've been starting to do is accumulate some information for a strategic plan. Currently, the city operates on kind of just a month-to-month basis, but what I'd really like to do is give you guys some options for a 5-year strategic plan so that you can kind of direct us what you would like us to achieve and have a kind of a vision for where we're going. And so hopefully in the next 3 or 4 months I can get that together and we can put it before council and maybe do a workshop or two and let you guys kind of come up with a plan for the city so we can move that direction. We've had a really good sense of training in January. Tara Shepard, our court clerk, was able to go to one of her mandatory classes to get her court level 3 certification. There's a couple of other classes she has to go to, but that was really important to her and she was able to attend that training. Rana was able to attend, it's called the Tony Corinth Supervisory Academy. It was an intensive 1-week training on how to be a supervisor and city management and different things. It was a very select group of people that were able to go and she applied and was selected, and it was also free of charge. So we really appreciated her doing her normal duties, making sure everybody gets paid, which is we all really appreciate. But she would come in, she would go to that academy all day, and she would come in the evenings to make sure and do the bills and then do the payroll and things. So that kind of dedication is really hard to find, and we appreciate you doing that. I was away at what's called Leadership Command College. But it's a very select group of people who get selected. I applied for this college back in about 5 years ago when I was with Plano, and there are so many people that apply, it takes that long to kind of get into the program. But Module 1 is where I was at. I was at the Mays School of Business at Texas A&M University, which is the #3 business school in the entire nation. And what I was doing there was learning about budgeting and some different things for the city. So hopefully in this next budget year, we'll be able to present things to you a little bit better. Some of the things that we worked on is being able to explain to you what our budget is, cost per citizen. So then we can explain where are we at compared to Alvarado or Midlothian. Are we really getting the biggest bang for our buck? And it's called lean management. So I want to be able to incorporate some of those ideas into our future planning, talk about capital budgeting, where we're moving money from cash dollars into infrastructure, streets and sewer lines and water lines and those projects, and being able to explain it to you guys and to the citizens so they understand where we're putting our money. But it was a really good training academy, and again, it was for free. They paid for my hotel, my food, my transportation, everything. So it was a really good thing for the city and for me to be able to go learn that training. I appreciate you guys letting me go and not be here for that one council meeting. Things are going really well at the city, but like I said, your vision is very important, and I know that all of our citizens appreciate your guys' efforts, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Council doesn't have anything else? Any comments, questions? If not, then I'm going to adjourn.